Welcome in to Trust the Process Live, everybody. I'm back, and I'm back because it's a football Monday, our first one of the season. We got 17 more of these coming at you, more depending on the playoffs, but for sure 17 more talking about the Birds right here in Philadelphia. Boys, how we doing? I'm your host, James Hyden, here with my guy, Doc Lock, Josh Saffron. What's up, buddy?
Oh my gosh! I mean, we're here. We're here. How can I be complaining? I'm feeling great. How are you doing, Banners?
Me, I'm busy. As you might know, I'm the technical director for Inside the Birds and their pregame show, which we're coming back for a second season. It's going to be at Rivers Casino this year, so I know there's some degenerates out there who gamble like myself. If you want to come play some bets at a sports book and also watch your favorite guys, Adam Kaplan, Jeff Mosher, and a couple guest hosts who I will not spoil at this time, come on over to Rivers Casino right on Delaware Ave. That's my plug. Before we get into the plugs for the episode, which I will get to, where you can find us on podcast forums. Guys, what's up with the private chat right now? I don't need all this, okay?
Something's going on. Something's going on. It's got to be fixed.
I hear there's a wind tunnel in someone's house.
Yeah, someone's going through something right now.
I'll figure out who it is. Max, it might be you. That AC might be on a little bit too strong, buddy. YG, young gentleman, James Jackson, how are you, friend?
I'm good. I'm apparently I'm as cool as Max's room right now if he got the AC bumping like that. But I'm actually sitting in a cleaned up basement. My basement got flooded from Hurricane Ida. So yeah, it was down bad. Stuff was floating around down here. So just hope everyone was safe after that storm, after that hurricane. And us up here in the Northeast, we didn't even experience like nearly the worst of it. So I hope everyone down south and up the coast is staying safe after that hurricane. But the basement cleaned up, we ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The man of many digits. How many digits will the Eagles win? I don't know. He tells me. Max Coolish, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry if I have a lot of background noise going on. Working on it. Going to get it fixed. So I'll tap out.
My man. All right, gentlemen. It is a football Monday. It's the football show. We are into the swing of things. I don't even think, you know what? Let me take a look at the script. Are we talking baseball? No. The Phillies just put a waxing on the Brewers. That's all we need to talk about.
I can't, yeah. Don't jinx it, man.
Call. Yeah, you know, I won't even talk about it. We're talking football here today. We're going to get right into the main event. And our first question here, boys. The guy. The guy. Everybody has that guy. Every team has that guy. All right, so now I ask you the question, what does Jalen Hurts need to do to become that guy? Josh, start us off, man. I can feel you ready to jump through the screen.
All right. Yeah. You know, it's Jalen Hurts. He's my guy. And by that guy, I mean, clearly recently we've seen a little bit more with the Eagles and Howie Roseman seem to be shying away. You know, there's no Deshaun Watson rumors. He's the starter. We were done with that whole song and dance, but there's no official, like Jalen Hurts isn't here in 2022. He's got to show something. So the first thing, you know, you guys know me, playoffs. That's my first answer is playoffs. And I understand that's not the only answer, right? Because not everyone is as gung-ho on Jalen Hurts as I am. So I got a few sets of criteria I have set out for Jalen Hurts. The first is simple. He needs to win at least 6 games this year. The Eagles need to win at least 6 games. That is my bare minimum. If they, you know, a lot of things could happen. Injuries could happen. But if Jalen Hurts wants to be that guy, no excuses, 6 wins. Second thing I'm going with here for Jalen Hurts is the intangibles. And it's like, oh, God, you're talking about intangibles? Okay. It's the leadership. It's the team guy that we've heard about all preseason. He needs to make sure he maintains that through the ups and the downs of the season. He's got to control the locker room. But the third thing, I get it. You know, we need some straight facts. That's a shout out to you, JJ. But
yeah, nice plug.
Facts about Jalen Hurts, and this is what I've come up with. I did a little research for this one, fellas. Completion percentage needs to go up around the 60% mark. Nothing crazy. I'm not talking about league leaders. I want to get up to the 60%. I came up with a number, 26 touchdowns. He's got to hit 26 passing touchdowns.
We are lofty goals here. Lofty goals here.
Here's my favorite one that I came up with, though. A net 300 yards every game. Not passing, but passing plus rushing. When you look at all the games Jalen Hurts plays this year, he needs to average out to contribute to 300 yards per game. And these aren't, I don't think, JJ, the touchdowns is a bit lofty, in your mind. To me, this is very reasonable. This is like right on the Nick Sirianni 1% better that we hear all the time. An improvement and a plan for the future for Jalen Hurts. Now, fellas, you guys know me as the big Jalen Hurts guy. Is anything I just said ridiculously unreasonable? Oh boy.
Not the Pro Bowl type player. Here y'all go. It is football season. Because Eagles fans are setting unrealistic expectations for themselves and their players already. So it must be football season. But Banners, you want me to get him or you want to get him?
Well,
yeah, go ahead, get him.
I'm gonna let y'all have the Pro Bowl thing. I'm still confused by like how the general masses use the Pro Bowl as a measuring stick.
Yeah.
Like it's the Pro Bowl. Nobody watches for a reason. Players opt out of the Pro Bowl for a reason. Like players go, like they decline money. You get paid to go to the Pro Bowl and they say, no, I'm good. Keep that check. I don't want to go to the Pro Bowl. So like, sure. But I just don't understand why we're still using that as a measuring stick. So if you want to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, that's cool. That means you're not playing in the playoffs or deep into the playoffs.
Right.
How about
this? In a conference title game.
Right. So, I mean, sure. But I think the 26 touchdowns is a little lofty. I think the 300 all-purpose yards is a little
That's attainable.
lofty.
That's attainable.
I think that's more attainable than 26 touchdowns.
Me too.
So is 26 touchdowns all purpose or just throwing?
I'll say throwing. I mean, that's what I believe.
Yeah, I think that's a little much. But sure. It's before. It's not even week one yet. Like, it's not even it's not even noon on Sunday of week one. So keep that energy, I guess. You know what I mean?
Let's keep in mind, like, what I'm saying is this is what he needs to obtain to be the not franchise, but the quarterback that the Eagles are confident to move on with, right? Like, if he can reach those benchmarks, maybe we're not hearing about Deshaun Watson next offseason, which I really don't want to be doing.
Well, I don't think you're going to hear about Deshaun Watson anyway, because I think if Hurts flops, you're not going out to get Watson. You're going
back in the draft,
you're going out to spend one of those 3 draft picks, or
you're
spend multiple of them to get up for another number 2. I won't mention his name. I won't do who shall not be named. Just another number 2 overall pick. We got a bunch of. He will easily throw for 26 touchdowns. Keep that energy, Corey.
Keep all the energy.
Personally, I don't think that wins a team stat should define the success or failure of one individual. You're not wrong, but let's also not say that quarterback stats should define a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me go off of that. Let me go
really quick. Can I just say something really quick?
Go ahead.
For this particular point, especially in context of evaluating a young player, if the rest of the team looks great around him, we see that all the time. So it's quarterbacks are definitely team wins are attributed to quarterbacks too much and vice versa a lot. But I think when you're trying to evaluate one player in particular, especially a quarterback, I don't think team dynamics should play into it. You can be a terrible quarterback on a bad team. You can be a terrible quarterback on a great team. You can be a good quarterback on a bad team. You can be a great quarterback on a bad team. A lot of things happen in football. So I don't know.
I mean, we can call a spade here. Young quarterbacks get judged on the amount of wins their teams get. Like, at the end of the day, the amount of wins that their team gets is tied to a young quarterback's evaluation. It just is. Let me tell you, if Trevor Lawrence goes out and wins 3 or 4 games this year, you're going to tell me they're not going to attribute it to how he's personally doing in Jacksonville? Like, they're absolutely going to. But to get back to the question, answering the actual question, Josh, I'm good with, the 26 touchdowns goal, the 300 all-purpose yards goal, right. But I do think you get into a little bit of hot water when you do talk about, he has to get 6 wins. That's just, I don't want to say setting yourself up for failure, but it's a little bit dangerous when you get there. I agree with you most when you talk about the intangibles. That's what I think Jalen Hurts has to do to gain confidence in the organization and his teammates, that they can rally around him and ride behind him as the quarterback going forward. And simply put, I think, to put it in Jalen Hurts' own words, I think he's got to pay the rent every day. Like he himself said it. The rent's due. I don't plan on missing a payment. And I think that kind of mindset has to carry forward from camp into this season and going forward. And he has to continuously earn or maintain his starting job after he's now earned it. He has to not act like his job can't get taken because they've said it, and now bring in Gardner Minshew. Like, actions speak louder than words. It can be taken, or you can give it up. You're not cemented in this role. So I think if he does that kind of hard work and dedication, one, I think translates to the field, and secondarily leads to, some of these lofty goals that Josh and probably Eagles fans are setting for him. But then that also shows that his entire locker room that this kid wants it. I'm okay getting behind a kid who wants it. Like there's probably going to be some hiccups. There's probably going to be some things that don't look great, but it's his first complete year starting in the NFL. Like you got to give him that. But I think just he has to show it. And please put that next comment up there. But he has to show it on a day-to-day basis. Like Jalen Hurts just got to pay the rent every day. Banners, please show that next comment.
I'll get to it. Max, do you got anything you got anything on here?
I mean, honestly, Josh, put his whole life's work PhD thesis into his answer, so I'm not really how much more I can give on that. I think becoming that guy is different to his teammates in the front office. I think a playoff berth cements them both. I think that's the easiest way to answer this. But I think there's a pretty large, if we're doing a Venn diagram style, that guy to the front office, that guy to the players, there's little overlap.
Good point. Yeah,
good point.
So you're exactly right. That's kind of where I was going. A lot of people are just looking at the players. And what I mean by that is nobody's really taking into account that this is a first-time head coach who was never even a coordinator at the NFL at the NFL level, whose offense was mainly based around 11 personnel, but now he's being forced into using a 12 personnel offense because of the Zach Ertz kind of referendum and happily ever after look. Jonathan Gannon has never been a coordinator at the NFL level, although I do believe in Gannon more than I do in Sirianni's offense. There's a lot of other factors here outside of what Jalen Hurts, and contributing factors into how he makes himself, quote unquote, the guy. So I'm going to take the teammates out of this. I think you can endear yourself to your teammates a lot quicker than you can to a front office. So I think the intangibles, just keep being him, keep paying rent every day, and the locker room's going to like you. To me, the only thing he needs to do as for the front office to be that guy is show that he's not taking away from the development of other players. Be stable enough and be developmental enough to show that, yeah, I'm a second-year quarterback. I'm still working through my stuff, but also you as Jalen Hurts cannot hurt the development of players like Devontae Smith. Like if you really want to find out what you want, if you really want to find out what you have in Jalen Reagor, you as Jalen Hurts cannot be missing deep throws. You can't be missing out routes. You can't be missing slant routes across the middle which is what you need Reagor to do. You need to get him the ball. You either need to hit him over the top or get the ball in his hands and let him do stuff after the catch. So
don't do what Carson Wentz did last year.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of why I wanted to reference like Corey Jackson here. Hurts. Yeah, Hurts won't flop if that O-line stays healthy. Maybe not. Just because you have 6 seconds in the pocket doesn't mean you don't. Just like Donovan McNabb used to throw a worm burner. It's sure, yes, maybe. And we got another one from Corey here. This team will win at least 10 games. I mean, keep that.
All right now, Corey.
Ambitious. That's ambitious.
All right now,
Corey. One Eagles fan to another, bro. That is ambitious.
All right now, Corey.
The last time I heard the most talent we had in a while, that was last season. I'm afraid of that sentence regarding this team.
Top 5 O-line, top 5 D-line. Why you guys don't believe the hype? We've been injured the last couple of years. This is the most talent we have had in a while. I think
Corey,
that is just blatantly wrong. I think the injuries have come to non-talented players for the most part as well. So I don't think you can really. I mean, the guys you have injured who are talented are Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks. Outside of that, I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Corey, I don't want you to get hurt. What we're doing here, we don't want you to get hurt. Okay,
it's
we're not trying to hurt you.
It's impressive. It takes a lot to make Max and Josh pull the reins. It takes a hell of a statement.
I mean,
for them to
guaranteeing
back
10
down.
wins with this team is it's bold. There's no way around it. I think it's fair to say that it's bold. I think that there is an avenue that it happens, but I think a lot of it kind of has to do with other teams missing their expectations. The Eagles have a pretty daunting schedule this year. I mean, outside the NFC East, obviously, but not the friendliest schedule for a team in rebuild mode.
I just want to say to Corey, believing the hype for 10 wins, I don't think that is the hype. I think that's your hype. I think if you look at the Vegas line, the Eagles win total is at 7 right now. Vegas really isn't wrong all that often. So you can buy into your own hype, but let's not. I don't want you.
I say 6 wins keeps this train moving forward. That is the expectation / goal. 6 wins is 7. Like we can keep going.
7 now with the 17-game schedule. I think you need that clean 10 losses. More than 10, that's starting to look bad. I don't
hate that, man. I don't hate that.
The last thing on it before we move on would be also it's how you lose, right? If you're playing competitively and you're looking good, that accounts for a lot, in my opinion. With this in this state,
if you want to take moral victories, that's fine. But I don't want
to if they lose close games, not moral victories. If the Eagles go 3-6 in 1 possession games or less next year, and they still finish with 7 wins. That is. That is context. That matters. If they finish, 1-8 in 1 touchdown games, then that's the mark of a bad team.
But how did they finish those games? Was it because a Jalen Ertz interception happened late in the 3rd quarter, and now they lose by 1 score? That's you know what I mean? Wins and losses, man.
All right, so we've referenced some of the players that have either underperformed or overperformed when we're looking for them, and now we got to get into this upcoming year, boys. I want to see some preseason awards here, and I'm not the biggest believer in handing out awards before game 1, but I don't control the script all the time. All right, so we're gonna go through them. We're gonna go through them one by one. And Josh, you are really wrong.
Pushing my buttons with this one.
You are really wrong for these last 2 awards, my guy. First one, Eagles preseason MVP award, Maximilian Coolish, the man of digits. Hand him out.
I mean, it almost feels like a cop-out to say Jalen Hurts, but in terms of building faith in the fan base and the players around him, it seems like he's done the best job. I mean, I'll leave some of the other more on-the-field obvious answers, but I truly think that in terms of value, right, if we're going strictly off the name of the award basis, in terms of who became more valuable over this preseason, I think you're hard-pressed to find someone.
Real quick, when I say preseason awards, I mean forecasting who will be the MVP, right? Not awards based on what happened in the preseason.
Specificity here, Josh.
Yeah, that is different. That is
the classic resign and re-sign with no hyphen in the middle of it.
Yes, this is what when the NCAA comes out with those All-American lists before the season starts. That's what I'm saying here.
So I don't think the answer changes much, Max. I don't think your answer changes much. It's the cop-out answer is still Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. Let's see. YG. Who's your MVP?
My MVP, I'm going to go Devontae Smith. And the reason I'm going to go Devontae Smith is I think he's going to be the one of the first draft picks in a long time, one of the first round draft picks in a long time that the Eagles have that hits on his value, on all of his value. Not a justification at the end of I mean, he recovered the fumble in the Super Bowl. So they're not one of those justifications on spending a first round pick on him. So my MVP is going to be Devontae Smith for that reason.
Josh,
fellas, I'm going to stay on brand, right? I mean, I'm going to cop out Jalen Hurts. It would be wrong of me to come up with something else. So, real simple. I'm all in.
Jordan Mailata.
Oh, I love it.
You say you need to hear why?
I didn't hear the reason.
You're sharing up this guy. I mean, he looks like he could be a 12-year starter at left tackle, and not just a starter at left tackle, a dominant force.
Did you say a Pro Bowler?
Sure, Josh. A Pro Bowl left tackle.
Wow, chalk it up. Jordan Mailata,
yeah.
next year's top 100.
And he, throw him up right now on one of the worst lists
79
ever put in
over
by
Tyron
any
Smith.
outlet ever. But yeah, I mean, Mailata showed durability last year, but talent last year. So on an offensive line that is just perennially not healthy and who drafts players who are perennially unhealthy, I think Mailata could be a standout. Moving right along into our second award, Defensive Player of the Year, Maximilian.
Oh, man. I can't do two cop-out answers in a row. So I'm going to say Alex Singleton will take the steps and become a legitimate
What are we doing here?
NFL contributor. He got voted captain by his teammates, Banner. You can laugh all you want.
That's amazing.
Wait, do we not defer to players' expertise on
That's what I thought.
all the time? Do we not?
What,
Yes or no? Do we not
in
defer
terms
to
of
players on
in terms of
matters?
electing people captain?
They don't need to elect Alex Singleton captain.
Hey, man, Chris Maragos, greatest Eagle of all time, captain.
That's special
What?
teams, and different reasons.
How does being elected captain?
I mean, that shows faith in him. Look, you don't put faith in a guy that doesn't show you something in terms of production. I'm not saying that he's going to take over the league and be the next Brian Urlacher, but from a guy that we laughed and said has no business being on the field all of last year, and by the end of the year we said, okay, Alex Singleton isn't great, but he is an NFL level linebacker, albeit not a great one yet. What's so wrong to say that this guy could be, he could continue progressing and be the bright spot on a defense? Do you want me to say Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, who?
Yes, because the defensive player of the year is saying at the end of the year who is going to be your best defensive player, and I'm actually mad that we're using the term cop out because who's your best defensive player? We talked about this last week when we were talking about the units. Who's your best defensive player?
I think Cox is unquestionably the best defensive
So
player.
who do you think is going to have the best year individually at the end of the defense?
Compared to what is expected of him and what we've seen in the past is going to have his best year.
I'm not talking about margin. I'm talking about the end. Whose name is going to be at the top and they had the best defensive season? It won't be Alex Singleton, man. It's going to be Fletcher Cox.
Okay,
that's the defensive player of the year right now.
Then you're welcome for me.
We're talking about the Pro Bowl. Doesn't matter. It does matter. All pros. Fletcher Cox is an all pro at his position. So I think.
So I wasn't sure if that would be a reach too.
No, so I definitely think Fletcher Cox is defensive player of the year when it's all said and done. I think there's very few players on the Eagles that you can look forward to being top 5 to top 10 in their position in the league. You guys don't have many of those players. Fletcher Cox is one of them, maybe the only one. So especially if we're talking about who's going to be the best player, shout out my man Jutt, talking about big play Slay. That's probably my second answer. It's a big name, I get it, but Fletcher Cox absolutely is your best defensive player and should be when at the end of 17 games this season.
Joshua?
I'll just pick that right up. I thought about Fletcher Cox. I think this is the first year that there's not really going to be a standout on that D-line. I think they're going to be very good altogether, but I don't think there's going to be one guy who you can definitively say is better than the next. And that's why I'm going with not make a play Slay, but this year he will be back to big play Slay. I mean, I was so frustrated with him last year. I gave him a very hard time. And I just think we're going to see a little bit of a return to the mean here. I mean, he's not that old, right? I would chalk it up to age. I think if he was a couple years older, I think he's still got it in him. I'm going with big play Slay with a bounce back year and maybe something about never mind. I was going to say something about having a healthier secondary and a little bit more guys. I'm not going to go that far and hype up the Eagles secondary right now, but I feel it. Big play Slay, best player on the defense.
Hargrave is going to be the best player on this defense. There's going to be, mark my words, there's going to be at least, I'm setting the over under at 2.5 weeks where people complain about Fletcher Cox's effort. Take that over under as you will.
Under.
And I don't think Hargrave is going to have any of those weeks. I think Hargrave is going to be the best player on this defensive side of the ball. Going to be a very good defensive line. A lot of rotation here. You could argue Josh Sweat, but I just don't know if I don't know if he's going to put up the numbers to justify that. I think he's going to put up a lot of hurries, but I don't know if his sack numbers are going to be.
I think Right. The end numbers for Josh Sweat are actually paying a lot to, seeing his name circulating the Eagles training
Big
camp.
time, yeah.
I think he might be the player on the Eagles team who plays his role the best. It may not turn into the end box score the best, but Josh Sweat will play his role in the Eagles team maybe better than anybody on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what Fletcher does in name, I think Hargrave is gonna he's gonna have a bust out year next to Fletcher Cox. But I think you're right. Josh Sweat is gonna be a very, very good piece to have opposite Brandon Graham. I just don't know if the sack. He doesn't seem like a 12 sack guy. He feels like a 7.5
with a lot of hurries.
With a lot of hurries. So there's that. Josh, I told you you're wrong for these, man. Our next award, and we're coming back to you, Max. The Travis Fulgam Award, a less glamorous breakout player. As we all know, Travis Fulgam had a wonderful camp last year. He did not have so wonderful of a camp this year, but we'll reminisce. Max, who's your Travis Fulgam Award recipient?
I think this guy might qualify. And Josh, please, you can be the authority. Would Kenneth Gainwell qualify?
Yeah, that qualifies.
Okay, then that is my choice. I think that the first 8-9 weeks of the season, he's just going to be chilling, maybe a touch here or there. Maybe kind of similar to Boston Scott's, fourth string offensive starters run a couple years ago. Maybe we'll have some Kenneth Gainwell impact late in the season on that front.
JJ, your Travis Fulgam Award recipient.
From one training camp breakout last year to one this year, I'm going to go Quez Watkins. He seems to have a little bit of a good rapport with Jalen Ertz as well. Had a good camp this year with people raving about him. And to me, a wide receiver room that's kind of still got some question marks in that 3 and 4, third or fourth wide receiver. Why not? Why can't Quez Watkins come and kind of make a name for himself as the latter part of that wide receiver room? So just as people thought Travis Fulgam was going to break out after his camp last year, I'm looking at the camp and the preseason Quez Watkins has, and I'm going to say him.
Joshua.
I originally wrote down Josh Sweat, but I decided that was not random enough. He's too good. So I'm going with Tyree Jackson because I think this is going to be a guy that, everyone was more hype about Tyree Jackson this preseason than they were about Folgam, but everyone's going to forget about him. He's going to be out, I think, for 8 more weeks. I think opposing teams are going to forget about him. He's just so tall. I can see him being a real red zone threat and some goal line packages and getting a few touchdowns. So week 10, if you're playing some daily fantasy, you might want to take a flyer on Tyree Jackson.
This is where I go Alex Singleton, gentlemen. Good camp, enough to get on the radar. The results could go either way. So we've had Alex Singleton, nothing but good things to say about him. I think the jury is still out. Hopefully they come back with a good verdict. Our last award here, Josh, man, seriously. The Nate Gary Memorial Award, the Whitesnake Memorial Award.
He didn't die.
He's no longer here. He's no longer with us.
Oh my God!
My goodness.
Yeah,
you are a reverend, sir. You are a man of the cloth.
Oh, that's good.
They didn't give me the rights and privileges of the ministry for nothing. So Max, who's your least valuable player? The Nate Gary Memorial Award go to.
It's kind of hurts to say, but
hurts.
To me, I'm interpreting this as who are we most likely to be memorializing next, and I feel like the answer is Jake Elliott.
Oh, that hurts. That one hurts real bad.
It hurts
I didn't
to
think
say,
about
but
that, and I very much agree. Wow.
Okay, Jake Elliott.
I don't like saying it. I take no pleasure in saying it.
Shaky baby.
But
that Giants game feels like ages ago.
He rode the wave for a couple months. I hate to say it. It has been consistently downhill from there. Yeah. It's not the point where he didn't have a job yet, but if the first month of the season he's underneath 85% accuracy,
yeah,
if most of those misses aren't from 50+ yards, then we need to have the talk.
Yeah,
I know it was 2017, so it was a couple years ago, but that Giants game feels like it was 15 years ago for Jake Elliott.
It's starting to feel that way.
To put it in perspective, Odell Beckham Jr. was standing under the goalpost waiting for it. That's how long ago it was.
peeing like a dog that game too.
Oof.
He did pee in the end zone.
YG, who is your White Snake Memorial?
I can't believe we
award
haven't said this. It seems like low hanging fruit, but what about Zach Ertz? Like, you talking about a guy who's like barely like a fringe roster guy at this point. Like you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the at the show banners how this kind of like soft send off for Zach Ertz is starting to happen. I'm not sure of the list that I saw if it was just straight naming players, but when it came to tight end, Zach Ertz's name was third. Not first, not second. It was third, and I think that's on purpose. Like I don't think you guys expect Zach Ertz to be here for that long, and if he is, you're not expecting anything of him. But this was 2-3 years ago, a top 3 tight end in the league, having one of the best seasons we've seen of a tight end in a very long time, and it's just fallen off a cliff. So maybe least valuable to the Eagles, like Zach Ertz isn't anything anymore, but a dangling, shining toy to all 31 NFL teams who maybe want to make an offer for him at some point.
Doc Locke.
I'm sipping the Zach Ertz Kool-Aid right now. I got to be honest. I don't know if it's just out of naivety, but my Nate Geary Award winner is going to be Charmin Soft Andre Dillard. I have a very bad feeling that he'll be first or second guy off the bench when someone on the O-line gets banged up. We watch football. It happens just about every game. So there's going to be that point where you look at the stats before Andre Dillard came in and the stats after he came in, and it's going to be miserable. We're talking big V bad, maybe even worse. So my Nate Geary Award winner, Andre Dillard.
Could Andre Dillard go down as worse than Big V? No, I don't want to. We're not. I don't want to open that can.
I think he could.
That's a can of worms I don't want to get into. My White Snake Award winner is going to be, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I think it's going to be Rodney McLeod.
Not Rod.
Really?
I know, and this sucks, man, because it's not just like if Rod could stay on the field, I think he could live up to the expectations, but it's one of those situations that no, Justin, I don't. That is the ultimate low hanging fruit. We're not talking about special teamers here. Okay, we're actually pretty scared. His mom holding the umbrella will come find us if we start doing that.
Not J. John.
It's great run blocking.
I think it's just how many years is this now? This has got to be at least the 4th year where we're like, okay, Rodney's going to have like a bounce back year. Rodney's going to like cement himself as like what we want at the safety position. I think it's getting time to pass up on. Okay, we can no longer wait for this to happen. You know what I mean? Because it sucks. Rodney is he's a great dude, great human being.
City loves him, and I mean, you can look at moves that the team makes to kind of aid your point too, man. You don't get Anthony Harris if you're all completely sewed up in your safety position, right? So
and they play the safety position pretty much the same way. Like, neither of them are the typical strong safety that's floating down to the box. They're both kind of center fielders.
Free. Yep.
So it sucks to say, but it's just I think it's 4 years is 4 years too long to have to wait. You know what I mean? So. Sorry, boys. I don't mean to. I feel like I'm actually
hurt a little bit. Hurt a little bit.
I'm upset I had to say that. Like, it hurts. Moving right along in our main event. All right. Is having the hardest part of the schedule in the first 4 games a good or a bad thing? And is this? Are we sure the hardest part's the first 4 games?
According to our man Corey Jackson, they're gonna start 3-0. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, and if does anybody here just by show of hands think the 49ers game is a win?
Do I think it's like a guaranteed win or a possibility for a win?
Either way, you're wrong. Yeah, I mean, getting back to the question at hand, Max, is having a hard part of the schedule in the first 4 games a good or a bad thing?
In this particular instance, I'm going to say it's a bad thing. Definitely you don't want to start with low confidence and like all those positivities build up throughout training camp, right? Like this is a good feeling. I would say this is a much better feeling than what was around the team the last year or two, right? Like the general overall aura. A bad, 1-3, 0-4 start really bring that to a screeching halt. You have the brand new coach, you have the brand new quarterback, you have the brand new offensive system, you have the brand new defensive system. Everything hits the fan early on, and you're already, we being reasonable people won't call them overwhelmed or over their head, anything like that.
We
as in like the four of us.
reasonable.
We as in the city.
You're always reasonable.
Jump on that and absolutely rip off anybody's head who has been, subpar or inadequate in their performance through that, initial first stretch. I think that in this, I think if this were a more experienced team, a team with a little bit higher aspirations, I think it's good to get the tough start out of the way early. Those teams are kind of more built to adjust as the season goes on. When you have everything new, you're building it all from the ground up. It kind of needs to come out and work at least to some extent early on, because if you come out and you're swinging 0 for 4, then everything you spent the whole last 6 months building up towards is already garbage, and then you have to do the next 13 weeks completely on the fly with no confidence in what you spent the last 6 months doing. So I think it's more of a hindrance for the coaching staff and what they're trying to build, because if what your foundation appears to be shaky and if it's inadequate against the rest of the league, what is that going to do for ownership? What's that going to do for the fan base? It's to me, that's the worst thing that can happen. Even though I'm kind of prepared for it as a fan, seeing who they play and how we perceive the other teams, but realistically, I think that starting off 0-3 0-4 or 1-3 is just brutal for a young team trying to find their way in all facets.
I want you guys to give me your predictions. So going through it, the first 4 weeks, open up the season at Atlanta, versus the Dirty Birds down there in Atlanta. Come back home for the home opener, where the San Francisco 49ers come to town. Head right back out on the road down to Dallas to face the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, who is an awful head coach. And then the Chiefs come to town. Andy Reid makes his return to the big bad building down in South Philly. So what's first 4 games? What do you think?
If I'm giving a hard prediction, I think 1-3. I think those first 3 games are all winnable in some capacity.
Yeah,
I think you should expect to get absolutely spanked by the Chiefs, and anything less than that is a moral victory. Which one isn't?
The Chiefs one is not winnable.
Chiefs one's not absolutely not winnable. The Chiefs are the 4th game, though, correct?
Okay. Yep. You said the first 3.
I think the first 3 all have some extent of winnability to them.
Okay. JJ.
I'm also predicting a 1-3. I think the Cowboys is probably the closest. You guys absolutely.
Atlanta's not that good.
Yeah, Atlanta's the win. I'm gonna give you guys the win in Week 1 against Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the Cowboys would be.
No. The closest of the 3 losses is going to be to the Cowboys. Cowboys, 49ers, Chiefs. Atlanta, I give you guys the win. Atlanta Week 1 also helps me out because I hate the Falcons. But to answer the first question, I think it is a good thing that if your toughest part of the schedule is in the beginning, I think it is a good thing. Like, it's just a measuring stick for your team. You don't find out how good your team is or how bad your team is against bad teams and easy wins. Like, I need some answers, and I need them quickly. So, like we talked about last week, what was the quote? Like, I need answers. I can't wait for some answers. And I think you get answers against good competition. Like, beating up on bad teams doesn't really tell me if Jalen Hurts is good or not. It doesn't tell me if my defense is revamped. It means we can beat up on bad teams. It's what everyone should be able to do. So I want to see good competition. I want to see tough competition. And I want to know at the end of 4 weeks, at the end of the first quarter of the season, how good my team is.
Josh.
Well, I'll tell you what. A tough start certainly doesn't help me and my narrative this entire offseason. I'm not here to tell you the Eagles are going to go 3-1. All right, I'm not saying that. I think they'll go 1-3 with an outside shot of going 2-2. I think it's very possible they go 2-2. But ultimately, I think it is a good thing, right? Cliche time, fellas. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit and can get back up. You have this trio, right? Hurts, Smith.
You pull that out of a fortune cookie?
Sirianni. I don't know. You ever seen this movie Rocky? It's pretty good.
What'd you get, General Tso's?
Anyways. Look, they're going to learn a lot about themselves in the first 4 weeks, and it might not look pretty for my Eagles to make the playoffs bet, but I think when it really comes back around, you're going to learn so much about yourself, and you're going to be able to work from that. And I think Sirianni and his naiveness, and look at Doug Peterson last year, right? Things started going bad, and he just got pissed off and snippy, and he lost control. I think Sirianni's the exact opposite, where maybe sometimes to a fault, he's a little like puppy dog-ish, where he's just going to smile there and just give whatever he thinks is the right thing to say. And everyone's going to be going crazy after week 4. But I think they're really going to learn a lot about themselves. And after week 4, don't hate me for this, fellas, other than the Bucs game, there's not a game that I say it's not winnable. The Chargers game, that's a little bit scary, but look at this division. Look at their schedule. Other than the Bucs game, I think they really can. I'm not saying they will win, but it's not like you're not penciling in any L's for the rest of the year. So give me the tough start. Give me a tough start. If they can get out of that healthy, which is a big if, I still like their chances.
You know why the preseason is such a detriment to fans, especially Eagles fans? It's because in the preseason, you don't watch any other team but your own. You don't pay attention to any other team but your own. You don't dive into any other team but your own.
I sure as hell don't.
So you get a little delusional concept about how good your team is because you're seeing them on a day-to-day, rep-to-rep basis, and you're seeing some players get better, but only against your team and only when it doesn't matter. And you only get a little reality check when you start playing other teams in the NFL. For a team who won 3 to 4 games last year with a brand new head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and QB, and a brand new whole lot of things, to look at only 2 games on a 17-game schedule and say every other game you can see a win out of.
Whoa! I said 6 games, by the way. I said 6 games.
You said besides the Chiefs and the Bucs game after week 4.
No. The first 4 games are tough, right? I said the beginning of the schedule is tough, and I said after the first 4 games, it's the Bucs and the Chargers. The rest, very winnable.
I think we have a little bit of a delusion about how good this team is, or how good this team is going to be.
So I'm gonna say I think it's I don't know if it's either or a good or a bad thing to have. I think it's an opportunity because if you go 1-3, it's an opportunity for Nick Sirianni to prove to everybody and himself that he can be a head coach. But that could also very quickly become a bad thing because say what you will, up until last season, the players did fight for Doug. And that was because of very quick success. Now, I mean, you can always go back to the stat that first-year head coaches under the Jeffrey Lurie era are always they always do very well. If that trend's broken, I'm not sure how quickly the veterans will decide to come around at this point in their career. So I think it's an opportunity. I will say I think they go 2-2, but I think I will say that I think this year I think the Cowboys and Eagles will trade away games. I think it's just too early in the season for Dak Prescott to really be back to who he is. Plus you have 4 people plus Zeke fighting for opportunities to touch the ball. Mike McCarthy is a god-awful head coach.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's pretty bad.
I think they take the first game. I think the Dallas Cowboys take the second game in the season series. So I think they go 2-2. I think the losses are bigger than the wins in terms of the differential. So I think it's a very early opportunity for the leaders in the locker room. I think it's a very good opportunity for Jalen Hurts to prove that, hey, these were 2 bad losses followed by 2, I won't say uninspiring, but pretty they don't show the full picture wins. So I think there's good opportunities here. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing inherently. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm just focusing a little more positive.
That's fine. That's why I need you. You know what I mean? That's why we need you.
That's why I keep you around, man.
Oh, boys. The last question in our main event, week 1 matchup. We're going to go down to Hot Atlanta real quick. The Battle of the Birds, the Dirty Birds versus our Birds. Who wins? Now, there's a lot of things we could dive in here, and I want to come back around. I'm going to go the opposite way. Josh, what are you looking for, and who wins this Battle of the Birds?
I know I'm going with the Eagles here. That's my big win out of the first 4 games. That's one of them I feel confident about. And it comes down to 2 simple things. One is Matt Ryan. I don't think he is what he used to be, and I don't think he has the weapons around him to make up for it. I don't think Mike Davis is anything special at running back. I think the biggest thing that scares me is Kyle Pitts, honestly. I mean,
Calvin Ridley doesn't scare.
Calvin Ridley, I was just about to say, Calvin Ridley's going to get his, right? He's definitely going to get his. But like I said, if I'm going to put my money where my mouth is with Depoy, big play Slay, then he'll be slowed down. So I'm scared of Kyle Pitts, but that's manageable. The real reason, though, I think the Eagles are going to win, and I'm not acting like I have no concerns, right? I think Nick Sirianni didn't do the best job preseason of building some chemistry with the offense. This is the perfect start, more or less, if you have your concerns with the offense getting chemistry. There is not a guy on the Falcons defense who I say, oh, no, we got to go up against him. or like, oh no, they're really outmatching. No. There's not
Grady
one of
Jarrett?
those guys. What's that?
Grady Jarrett.
Against Kelsey?
Yeah, like you know what I
Dude,
mean?
why-
Like,
all right, I'm not even going to do this.
Okay.
Jason Kelsey did not have the year you all think he did.
sure, look.
I mean, you're acting like Grady Jarrett's going to go through him every single
Yes,
play.
exactly. You're acting like Grady Jarrett's
That's what
Aaron
Grady Jarrett
Donald.
does to the entire National Football League.
All right. If Grady Jarrett wrecks the game, you can take your victory lap.
Yeah.
And I agree with Josh. The Falcons' defense.
Hey,
I'm not
hey,
trying
hey,
to
Bears.
do a victory lap. You asked me for a guy who scared you. I gave you one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Take it. If Grady Jarrett has a game, you come back here and get your 30.
I'm not looking for a victory lap. You asked me for a guy who scares you. I said Grady Jarrett.
But what I'm saying is Grady Jarrett is not going to stop the Eagles. Like they're not. The Eagles aren't going to lose this game because Grady Jarrett. And we can cut that soundbite. And
I didn't say you
cut
would.
that
You asked me
soundbite.
for a guy who scared you. I gave you one of the top 5 defensive tackles in the league.
Yeah, hey now, Grady
One
Jarrett,
guy.
you could absolutely lose a game because of Grady Jarrett. Absolutely.
Look, I'll eat all the crow in the world if that's how they lose. I'm feeling good. Not too much more to say.
Nobody said that's how they lose.
Simple
But
as
like, what team? And here's why I'm mad, because I'm all set to take you guys and to pick you guys to win week 1. I'm all set to, and you make me mad because what team do you think you have right now? Like you can't be beat by the Falcons.
look at that.
Grady Jarrett can't have a game against y'all.
I mean, it's just one. Like the Falcons might be one of the worst 3 defenses in the whole league.
And that
Look up
was
some
about to
dogs
be
with
my
that
point.
one,
That was
Josh.
about to be my point. There's not many teams in the league that are worse than you guys, and the Falcons are one of them.
Thank you.
They're like, you guys absolutely should go down to Atlanta and win, but make no mistake about it, this will be like an ugly week 1 game.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
it's not gonna be a pretty game to watch. It's like 13-10. You guys win. Jalen Hurts has probably like got one passing touchdown, and maybe it's he drives you guys down the field and you hand it off to get in the end zone, a couple of times. But it's a lot of turnovers in this game, a lot of hiccups, a lot of mistakes. It's 2 bad teams coming back in week 1 with a whole lot of question marks with them. So
Sign me up for it.
All right.
hey, wins a win at the end of the day. Wins a win at the end of the day.
All right, JJ, you got your point out. Max A Million. Who wins this battle of the birds?
As much as I hate to say it, I think the Falcons will win. And honestly, this to me there's no real reason why I can explain it, because if you look at the matchups, we have better, I would say, probably advantage on the trenches on both sides of the ball. I think that the Eagles are very susceptible to, kind of like the Sixers in a way, letting one or, in this case, maybe 2 guys just absolutely dominate and dictate the pace and the flow of the game. Nobody can cover Calvin Ridley on this team, not Josh's Defensive Player of the Year, Darius Slay.
Ooh, okay.
We saw what tight ends did to the Eagles last year. There's no doubt in my mind the Falcons are going to come out and try to get Kyle Pitts 100 yards and 10-plus targets on his first game. I think that we'll see enough from both sides of the ball to feel disappointed that they don't win. I'm going to take the Falcons 26.
Damn, Max.
You're traumatized,
Wow.
man.
I'm
You are
not
hurt right
traumatized.
now. You are hurt
You
right
keep
now.
saying that I'm overconfident. I have unrealistic expectations for this team. I know exactly what this team is. They're average at best. They're going on the road against a veteran quarterback who has better weapons than they have defensive pieces against. You want me to bet the Eagles every game? I can talk myself into the Eagles winning this game. You want my honest prediction? The Falcons win a game that I don't think they necessarily deserve to win. Close.
Real quick, Max.
Probably a coin flip game. To be honest, Falcons might get the home advantage.
Do you take the 3-point spread?
As a neutral, no. As an Eagles fan, yeah.
That's a good answer. That's a fair answer.
Yeah, I think the Eagles, I'm pretty confident are going to win this one. I just don't see Arthur Smith transitioning into that offense fantastictically. You know what I mean? So it's just the Falcons offensive line is pretty bad. Shout out to former Temple Al Matt Hennessy down there in ATL. But I mean, you when you're not a good offensive line and you have to line up week 1 against Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, and then not even talking about the rotational guys.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not a good recipe for Matt Ryan, who was on the wrong side of 30 a couple years ago. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a closer game than many expect. I think Kyle Pitts is going to have – I think this is starting the Kyle Pitts coming out party, which is going to be a year-long, really fun thing to watch.
Yeah, against the hometown team, too.
Yeah, I think
Not
this
at
is,
home, but against the hometown team.
I think this is one of the Eagles' first 2 wins here. It's just no matter how well Arthur Smith does, there's just no talent on that defense. So I think the Eagles take this one. Corey, we're not a bad team at all. I mean,
move on.
Yeah.
Don't put me in this position because, like, I mean, I don't think they're a bad team, but I wouldn't say at all.
If they went from a 4-win team to a good team in that year, I think somebody deserves a medal for the quickest turnaround.
Didn't we say 7 wins? Didn't we say 7 wins? 7-10 is a bad team.
I'm going 9 wins.
Corey, I want you to keep this energy. I don't want you to get hurt.
Corey. I love it, man.
We play realism here. Like we play realistic sports fan here. That's kind of what our characters are. That's the act we play.
Corey's like the notch right above me, right? Like there's me and then there's Corey right here, and I'm just like,
Own it, Corey.
You to get hurt, Corey. I don't want you to get hurt, Corey.
Own it, Corey.
So that's going to be it for our first half. As always, we got to give the time to shout out to our guys over at PHL Sports Nation, local Philadelphia blog and websites covering all your favorite Philadelphia sports teams across social media, blogs, everything in between. They do a great job. Go check them out at phlsportsnation.com and all across their social media sites. A site for every team. We got all 4 of them, and I think they might even have a union page too,
time,
right? Yeah,
time.
all of our major sports teams. So give them a follow. They are well worth it. So PHL Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. And getting into our second half here, boys, we're gonna do word on the street. We all know how it goes, but for those of you who don't, I'm gonna give you a sentence, phrase, or anything in between, and you got to finish it for me. Our first one here goes, if I could find it, bang. I think that's it. Yep, bang. Division winners in the AFC and NFC will be. Josh, I want to come to you first because, Max, I can see the gears turning, and I want you to be able to think about it.
Oh, yeah, I got a nice little list, and I'm going to just rattle it right off here. Don't want to be going an hour 20 episode, so no real surprises here other than an expected one. So AFC East, give me the Bills again. AFC West, always the Chiefs. AFC North, I love the Ravens. I'm always a Lamar Jackson fan, and I just think they're just getting a little bit better. AFC South, the Titans. I am very high on the Titans this season, fellas. NFC East, come on. It's them birds. You knew it was coming. NFC West, I'm buying into the Stat Mafford hype. I want to see what those Rams are like with Stat Mafford and Sean McVay. You know, I plain and simple. I don't need to go more into it. And then NFC North, give me the Packers. I am a closet Packers fan. You guys know I love Aaron Rodgers, and especially the narrative is perfect. And JJ, it's your Bucs in the NFC South. There's no other answer here, and not for Tom Brady, not for that star-studded offense, for that defense. That defense is too damn good.
Star-studded defense too. Defense too.
Oh,
come on, man.
Definitely.
Come on, man.
JJ, your winners.
I'm gonna start from easiest to hardest. Let's get the NFC South out of the way. Obviously, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers are running not only the NFC South but the entire NFL. Max, I want that part clipped where he just said "Go Bucks," and I want that playing on a loop all NFL season. NFC West, I'm gonna go the Seahawks. I'm not sure why I'm so confident in them, especially with their like little collapse that they had last season. But I see question marks kind of with the rest of their division, and they kind of get the benefit of the doubt of one of the only teams in their division not having a question mark, especially at quarterback. So I'm going to go the Seahawks. NFC North, the Packers, I think, are just ahead of everybody else in that division. The Bears and Vikings can catch ground. Banners, I think your Vikings do have a surprisingly competitive year. A lot of people are not picking them too, but I see a competitive year out of you guys. Who am I missing? Oh, NFC East. God, yeah, of course. The NFC least. I'm going Washington football team. Yeah. They're a really good defense, definitely the best of the division. And they got Fitzmagic over there, man. And say what you want, he's good to 3 or 4 exciting wins a year, man. He's good for it. I've seen it. You guys have been on the bad end of a couple of them. I'm going the Washington football team to win the NFC East. Going to the AFC way. AFC West, got to go the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, that's an easy one. AFC East, not got another easy one, the Buffalo Bills. I'm interested in the Miami Dolphins, though. I think that's a playoff team. I think Tua can do enough to not sink the ship. So I'm going to be paying attention to them, but they don't have enough, obviously, to win the division yet. AFC South, here y'all go. You guys get another first-round pick. Because not only does Carson Wentz play all of the snaps that he needs to, I think he leads them to a division win.
Woo!
I don't think he's the reason they win the division. You got to remember the defense is still really top tier, and I think they have enough defense to aid them to a division win. Their offense scares me, and it scares me because of how little explosiveness their offense seems to have. T.Y. Hilton is still the number one receiver, and he's just not the T.Y. Hilton he used to be. And Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor they're not really like the most electrifying core. So, but
Jonathan,
I do think
what?
Huh?
Jonathan Taylor's the real deal. Happy Meal.
Real deal Happy Meal. Hey, aids to my point, man. So I'll give you that. The Indianapolis Colts, and then the AFC North is going to be the best division in football. They're going to get, I think, 3 playoff teams in there. The Steelers are going to sneak in at the end. And I'm going to Baltimore Ravens, edging out the Browns because I'm actually you talk about you're a pseudo Packers fan. I'm a pseudo Browns fan. Like I want to see the Browns succeed on a week-to-week basis, but I think the Baltimore Ravens just have a little bit more talent than they do right now, and they get it done. I got them all 8, right? I got them all.
Sure.
All right.
Yep. Max $8 million. Run through the gambit right here.
All right. Start AFC first. AFC West, Chiefs, easy one. AFC South, Titans. I think that the Colts. I don't want to say refusal, but their low vaccination rates. It feels like that is going to factor into the season somewhere somehow, and it feels like they're obviously a prime candidate to be one of those teams affected. I think something just as simple as that, missing a key guy against Tennessee or getting upset by the Jags because Quentin Nelson and their left tackle both something like that. They're a team that has a liability for something like that to happen. And with thin margins, I'm willing to take my chance and bet on the other side. So Chiefs, Titans. I'm gonna go AFC East, Bills, easy, obviously, and then AFC North. I'm gonna go with the Browns. I am surprised to hear JJ say that the Steelers are going to make the playoffs because I think that'll be a big reason that the Browns will be able to make it in because the Browns have matched up well with the Ravens in the past few years while kind of getting their stuff back to them by the Steelers. So I think that'll contribute in a major way. NFC, Bucks, Packers, 2 layups. NFC West, give me the Rams. I think that defense is maybe the best in football. They have at least the two best defensive players in football, and I think that can take you a long way. And I'll take the nameless Washington football team to take the NFC Beasts.
All right. I'm going to go. Let's go down the line here. Starting the AFC first, obviously Bills, Chiefs. Those are 2 layups that don't need explaining. I'm going to go with the Brownies. I just think they I think they have the best roster in that division, and I think people need to pay attention to the Ravens running game.
Guys keep going down.
They have nobody there anymore. So, I mean, for a team that runs the ball as much as the Ravens do, the only option for a threat that is running right now is Lamar Jackson, and that is a recipe for a Week 8 pretty serious injury that's going to knock him out for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. And their passing game's never been too great. I had high hopes for it when Rashad Bateman got drafted there, but Bateman's going to miss about 3 weeks with a core muscle injury. Marquise Brown is still a little bit hurt. I think Mark Andrews still has another fantastic year, but when your tight end's your best receiving option and your quarterback is your best running option, I think that's tough for the Ravens to get over. So I think the Browns take that one. AFC South, I'm going to go the Colts mainly because I think Arthur Smith was a lot of what was propping up Ryan Tannehill. I'm not going to say Tannehill completely falls back to earth because I think he actually is 90% of the quarterback that he's shown that he can be once getting to Tennessee. I think A.J. Brown is a superstar in this league that's about to come out, and obviously Derrick Henry is going to challenge the rushing record, that the previous rushing record now that there's an extra game because I think they're going to be going down to the wire with the Colts.
Yeah, if you had the extra game last year.
Yeah, easy. I think you're right, Max. I think the Colts are going to have some very timely COVID protocols happened this year.
Really quick, the 10-day mandatory absence if you're unvaccinated and confirmed case, that's one guaranteed game that you miss. No way to get back.
It sucks that we have to factor something like that in. But you're absolutely right, Max. Like you do. It's like an unforeseen thing that you got to factor in, but like you do.
Kills you. Switching over to the NFC side, I'm going to go Washington. I think people are discounting the roster that the Washington football team has outside of the quarterback position. That doesn't mean I don't full-heartedly believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. But I mean, he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think the Washington football team roster is actually very, very well put together. If they could finally get a quarterback, I think they could do some things in this league. But for right now, I'm going to go Washington football team. To the West, I'm going to go Cardinals. I think this is the year that they finally break out.
Okay.
I think this is the year that they finally break out. I think this is the year that offense puts up 40 points a game because they quite honestly can. James Conner is in there as more. I think James Conner is going to be more to the Cardinals than he was to the Steelers because before now the Cardinals never really had a true runner to put there with Chase Edmonds, who's more of a pass catching back as well. So I think that just adds another dimension to their offense. Head up to the north. Pass. NFC South. It's the Bucs.
Okay.
Did you say the NFC North again? I missed the NFC North one. I missed that.
Yeah, that's a pass.
Okay.
I have way too much. I have way too many feelings about the NFC North that could go. If we're being completely honest, the Chicago Bears have an outside shot at that division. Just being completely honest. You want honesty from me? I'll give you honesty.
I never know you to lie to me. But
right into our second word on the street. NFL MVP. Most valuable player will be Maximilian.
Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills in the AFC. Haven't had the back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. That might be that one game that the Chiefs just need to recoup. That might be the difference. Josh Allen.
Interesting. JJ, 2021 NFL MVP.
I was going to go Josh Allen, but you went Josh Allen. And to be honest, I haven't been that spicy this episode. So I'm going to pull one out. You talked about an extra game and he's going to get the rushing record. Give me King Henry, Derrick Henry, to get not only the rushing record with that extra game, but because he gets Eric Dickerson's record, I'm going to put the crown on it. MVP for Derrick Henry.
All right. Josh.
JJ took it right out from under me right there. And I was also going from a betting perspective. Plus 5,000 odds for Derrick Henry right now. I'll throw $2 on that. That's $100 right there. So, yeah, JJ, your reasoning is sound. That was exactly what I was going to say, more or less. So, give me King Henry.
All right. Oh, I'm tempted.
Do it. Do it.
I'm tempted to go Justin Herbert, boys.
Whoa!
I didn't mean to do that much.
Wow!
I like it.
I'm tempted.
I love it.
Shoot for the moon.
I'm tempted to go go Justin Herbert here.
Show your work.
Show your work. Crazy predicting Lamar Jackson for MVP before his.
That's true.
Yeah,
show your work.
He should show my work. Get out of here, bro. That gave me like nightmare fly. I just got a shiver up my spine. Why do I have to show my work? If the theorem tells me X equals this, I believe it.
Exactly.
I believe it. People smarter than me. You know, what he showed last year was a lot. You know what I mean? They did a little bit to help out. They did enough to help out on the offensive line. Rashawn Slater is still banged up a little bit, but I mean, that skill position group, I think Austin Eckler is about to have a fantastic year for the Chargers, and I think people are forgetting that Derwin James is coming back. Derwin James can single-handedly change a defense. So if we're talking about a Chargers team that's 2 games behind the Chiefs and gets and wraps up a wild card spot in the AFC easy, I think Justin Herbert gets some serious talk. Corey, you know what, man?
Corey puts his vote down. Corey weighs in on the great debate.
Corey, I love you, man. That's some good stuff.
Corey, here's the thing. Corey, I hope you're with us all 17 weeks. I really do. I want to see you with us, man.
You know what, Corey? Show your work. All right.
Show your work, Corey. Show your work.
Our last word on the street here, boys. 2021 Super Bowl winner will be Max. Go.
There's one correct answer here, Max.
Oh,
You want to say it?
There is one.
You want to say it?
Who's the Super Bowl champions now?
I'm letting you answer for me because they're
You want to it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because you believe it. I can see it in your eyes that you believe it.
You don't bringing back all 22 starters. I mean, it's cop out answer as it gets, but I would take. I mean, it is a cop out answer by definition.
It's the smart answer.
I don't think it is a cop out answer.
It's the smart answer.
I like the Bucks. I literally, as unlikely as it is statistically, give me the Bucks over the Chiefs part 2.
And I get that. It's unlikely statistically. It's also super unlikely that you get a home game for the Super Bowl and win it as a 43-year-old quarterback. It's really a lot of unlikely things happen. And then they all happened last year for me. So not only do I have confidence in my team, but a quarterback like Tom Brady keeps the ship afloat. Like you don't talk about being able to maintain success as what he did for damn near 20 years in New England. So let me answer it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, back-to-back Super Bowl champions, and don't let them come back again after that because I'll stamp down for a 3-peat right now. That's just how I'm feeling.
Josh?
Yeah, and until as long as Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, they're all together, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs like every year.
Them boys got embarrassed.
Max,
Them boys got embarrassed in February.
To me, that's the cop out answer. Like I'm copping out here and saying the Chiefs, and it's not sexy, but I think Mahomes is the best in the whole league.
I want to pick the Bills, but I can't.
Yeah, there it is. Chiefs. You're crazy for the Bucs, man. I think like they're gonna do good, but like. You don't win back-to-backs, and you don't do it with a quarterback on the other side of 40. I'm sorry.
Max, Josh, he was the other side of 40 last year.
Dude, I know.
He was literally on the other side of 40 in February.
I know.
It's the same team.
So I'm gonna go Chiefs here. I think the only thing that stopped Patrick Mahomes from winning another Super Bowl last year was the offensive line and just how absolutely dominant the Bucs defensive line was. I'm not taking anything away from Tampa Bay. I swear that's not what I'm trying to do. But I think people need to remember that the Chiefs front office did literally what you should do as a franchise. You go, okay, that's my pain point. I am going to throw the entire book at that.
Yeah, throw the whole wallet at it.
They brought in Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle. They brought in Joe Thuney which is I think it's really funny. People pronounce his name Thuney. It's really Tooney, and that makes it so much better. Joe Thuney at right guard. Thuney will swap over to left guard. Austin Blythe at center. And I think it's a really underrated return. You got to remember that I'm going to mess up his name.
I know who you're talking about. The dude who left to be a doctor.
Laurent Duvernay-Tardif was one of the better right tackle or right guards in the league when he played. And this man opted out to go help people in Canada because he is also a doctor. That offensive line went from a liability to an incredible strength, probably top 5 in the NFL. And if the only thing holding Patrick Mahomes back from an NFL title was the offensive line, and you throw the book at it that hard, I'm going to go Pat. Unfortunately, sorry, JJ.
Ready?
It's
We ready?
Corey, I just explained why they got exposed and what they did to fix it. Golly, Corey.
You know what, Corey? You know what, man? If the Eagles can win 10 games and Jalen Hurts can get MVP nods, then we can win like 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Boys, do I need to respond to this one, or you guys got that?
We were beat up last year. Now you're saying the same thing.
Let's tap it out.
Yeah,
we're gonna tap that one out.
Corey, never change, Corey.
I hope you come back, and you know what, Corey? I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
But I don't think we will be.
Week 4, baby. Corey's coming in here swinging.
I know. Let's get into tap outs. Who wants to go first here?
I'll go first. Oh, go ahead. You want to go last? All right. Because you got a big reveal. I'm still wondering what this is about.
I don't know what this is.
I'll go first because mine's on a somber note. The actor Michael K. Williams passed today. A lot of people know him from The Wire, but he's been in many great TV shows and movies. And just like, unfortunately, with passings like DMX, and passing like with other public figures, a lot of videos and things are surfacing about just how kind-hearted and great of a person he was. Another person who wanted to connect with everyone, shed a positive light wherever he was. So don't want to get too long-winded in this memorial, but just, obviously wanted to give a little shout out to Michael K. Williams and, prayers for his family and loved ones out there. And just another reminder, man, hug your loved ones, tell the people in your life you love them.
Josh?
Yeah, I gotta tap out here. Not somber. Well, not somber in terms of people, somber in terms of programs, as the Temple football program. Fellas, I had the privilege to travel down as a Owl Sports Update anchor to the hub city and cover the Temple Rutgers game. I didn't think they'd win, but I didn't think they'd lose 61-14 to Rutgers. You fellas know, you guys know I'm a Rutgers fan. Like, to me, this was awesome, right? I'm watching Temple Rutgers, and it was horrible. It was embarrassing. Look, I'll just say this. I got to be a little bit diplomatic here because as someone who covers a team, I'm not going to just sit here and slander or name names. But I've been here. This is my 4th year. We are on our 3rd coach. They went 8-5 when I got here. They went 1-6 last year in a very embarrassing fashion. And they started off this year with an 0-1 and losing 61-14. There were a lot of Ventel Bryant, a good Temple receiver. I can't remember if he's on a roster or on a practice squad. Practice squad. So he tweeted out just saying, this is embarrassing, yo. And a few current Temple players were liking that tweet and liking some other tweets. It's fallen down. So I'm not going to say anything crazy as someone who covers this team. I just want, as a very Temple show here, a Philly show, want to shed light that Temple, we need a little bit more emphasis on football. It wasn't ever anything crazy. It wasn't like we were a powerhouse, but there were highlights. There's no highlights anymore.
Only campus was 12 blocks away from a nationally ranked high school program.
Yep.
What a shame.
Multiple of them.
So, yeah, that was my very diplomatic way of talking about that. If I was not an anchor or covering the team, I would be screaming and naming names. But, however, I am not. There
Thank
you
you
go.
for your
So I'm going to go off the beaten path here. I'm going to go up to Flushing Meadow, New York, and talk about the U.S. Open that is currently going on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a lifelong tennis fan, grew up playing it. And I'm like Roger Federer's biggest fan. But there was always going to come a time where the big three, Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, had to leave. And this feels like the start of that because it's been prolonged for so long. I mean, there's this kid. I mean, Carlos Alcaraz is the youngest player to ever reach the U.S. Open quarterfinals. I believe he's like 17, 18 years old. Like, this is really exciting to see. As much as some of the players in the top 10 are complete asshats as actual people.
Yeah.
They are fun to watch on a tennis court. So at least coming from the men's side, this has been one of the best first weeks of a Grand Slam that I've ever personally watched. So it's exciting to see for the future of tennis.
And Banners, let me just say on that note, I had Tuesday 7:00 U.S. Open tickets in my cart when Francis Tiafoe won set 1. He's my favorite guy, and I was ready.
That was a great match.
Oh, it was great, and it was a little bit crushing for me and my $10 on Tiafoe, and as a Tiafoe fan there. But just want to throw that out there. I'm loving it also.
It's a fantastic tournament so far. So Max, what
All
do
right,
you got?
Wait, what's going on, man?
It's not that deep, right? So as you guys can see, I got my fancy New Eagles shirt for this season, right? You guys may have seen me wear this shirt in person or on the show before. This Eagle shirt, I got it a very, very long time ago, 10 plus years ago at least. Made it a point to wear this shirt on every single Eagles Sunday for a decade plus. Wore it every single week, every single playoff game of the Super Bowl year. This shirt has sentimental value to me. But unfortunately, as you guys can kind of see, it's in no condition to be worn out anymore. And I was just hoping that as fellow football fans, you guys could help me, lower this to the ground. It's never going to be worn again.
Oh, absolutely, man. Let me get the music ready. Thank
you. I'm considering framing this. I want to see if I can get it into like the Philadelphia Sports Museum. I mean, this thing is a treasure to me. And, thank you. And I I wanted to share with all fans. So thank you guys.
Hang in the rafters.
Seriously.
Put it. Maybe we got to put that in the My New Philly rafters.
Thank you, JJ.
Do you have any special words for the shirt, Max? What does the shirt mean to you?
I mean, I experienced the greatest day/night of my life in this shirt, and that'll always mean something. That Super Bowl, banners fly forever. The memories from the game, from afterward, from that whole week, year, 2 years after, will always be there. You know, this shirt's seen it all. It's seen the dream team. It's seen Andy Reid get fired. It's seen Super Bowl win. It's seen two NFC Championship game losses in a row. Got it after the first one. It's seen everything. And it's a sad moment. I had to move on. The time, we want answers. I need to find the answer of how am I going to move on from this trip. And it's not going to be easy. But as football fans, we will persevere.
I'm here with you, buddy. I'm here with you.
Wow.
And thank you. Thank you for your religious blessing. I needed that.
I don't really want to get emotional on the show or anything. But that was like a really powerful moment you just shared with us, Max.
Yeah, man. It was worth the wait. It really was.
I'm glad the build up had some sort of
All right,
home, please.
That was our in memoriam for a cherished piece of fandom right there. Yeah, but that's going to be it for us here on Trust the Process Live. As always, we are brought to you by My New Philly, where something is or everything. Oh my goodness, boys! Can you do it for me?
I feel you.
Can you do it for me?
We're brought to you by My New Philly, where something's always new and everything's always new. Thank you for joining us. Go Birds,
guys over there, PHL Sports Nation, and as always, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere in between. Trust the Process Philly, TTPL Philly, you know where to find us. We'll be back next week after week 1 of the NFL season to give it a roundup and look ahead to week 2. So, Philly, see you next week.
See you Monday, Corey.
Keep on building the lives that you made.